Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Ram 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 Hare Hare Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrind ki jai Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur ki jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai प्रेम से कहो जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय हरे कृष्णा दिस इज Shama Supriya Devi Dasi from Houston welcoming all the devotees to our Bhakti Sangha Satpa conference call. I thank all the devotees for joining the session and giving your very wonderful association this morning, and please forgive me for stopping your sincere chanting. Thank you to each and every devotee for joining this chanting session. And now we will move to our next part of our session, that is our Caitanya Bhagavata session. So before that, can I know who are all joining this morning?
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisance. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, goes to Sri Guru and Gauranga and all the small devotees. This is she just joining from Texas. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Sridhar Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you, Prabhuji, so much for joining the call and giving your very wonderful association this morning. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Sir Glory Srila Prabhupada, Guru Maharaj, and all the assembled wealth members. This is Haridas Dasi.
Hare Krishna, Kirtida Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining these sessions and giving your wonderful association this morning. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Shama Supriya Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Brita Gandharvika Devi Dasi from Texas.
Hare Krishna, Vinita Gandharvika Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the sessions and giving your wonderful association this morning. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Dandat Mataji. I am Dr. Karpagavalli from Kanyakumari district, India.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Karpagavalli Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much, Mataji, for taking your time and giving your association. Thank you so much. Is this your first time, Mataji, joining all the call?
Mataji, I am joining 2 or 3 days, Mataji, 2 or 3 days.
Okay, very nice, Mataji, very nice. So please give your association, Mataji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Shri Guru and Gauranga and all the assembled devotees. Yashamati from Chicago.
Hare Krishna, Yashamati Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the sessions and giving a very wonderful association this morning. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Shama Supriya Mataji. This is Kaumudiki Dasi from Baltimore. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Sri Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj and all the devotees. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Kamadki Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much, Mataji. After a long time, I'm getting your association. Thank you so much for joining the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Hope you are feeling better, Mataji.
Yes, I'm feeling better. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Shama Supriya Mataji, Dandavat Pranam to you and all Vaishnava. Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev ki jai. Vrinda.
Hare Krishna, Vrinda Gopika Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the sessions and giving your very wonderful association this morning. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Shama Supriya Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. Jai Srila Prabhupada. This is Preeti Vilasini Devidasi from Atlanta. Thank you, Mataji, for your warm welcome.
Hare Krishna, Preeti Vilasini Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the sessions and giving your very wonderful association this morning. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. I welcome all the devotees to our Bhakti Sangha Japa conference call of our Sri Caitanya Bhagavata Adi Khanda. So we are today very happy to have with us His Grace Haridas Varya Prabhuji. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, before handing the call to you, I would like to read the quote of Srila Prabhupada for today, March 1st. The sufferings are there here or India or hell or heaven. Anywhere within this material world, there is suffering. But people are so foolish that simply having a nice motor car or a skyscraper building, he thinks my all problems are solved. He does not know that this life is a flash only. I am eternal. San Francisco, March 1st, 1967. Jai Shri Prabhupada. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for giving your precious time and association and coming to our call and giving us nectarian session, Prabhuji. So I hand over the call to you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Am I audible?
Yes,
Just
Prabhuji.
yes.
Yes,
Okay.
Prabhuji.
Thank you very much. First and foremost, I thank Her Grace Pritivilasni Mataji for giving me a kind chance to speak about Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat with all of you enthusiastic devotees. And I thank each and every one of you to take out this time, which is the most precious in Kali Yuga. And you have so many different options to hear from many, many wonderful realized Vaishnavas. But I'm very grateful that you have all assembled here so that my service can be completed to speak about the Supreme Lord. So very, very honored to be here. But before I start, I would like to offer my humble obeisances to my spiritual master and also the Guru Parampara, along with Srila Prabhupada and the wonderful lineage of Acharyas, up to Sri Radha and Krishna, and also to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, about whose pastimes today we will be talking about. Om Agyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shilakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yatapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhuvaevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrindam Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yet Kripatamaham Vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Hari Om Tat Sat Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Today we are reading from the chapter, the last chapter. In fact, we have reached the Adi Khanda's last chapter. Such a wonderful journey which we have navigated over many, many weeks, months, and today we are embarking upon the last chapter of Adi Khanda, where the Lord is also embarking on a journey. And the journey is the Lord's travel to Gaya. Gaya is a spiritual place, and we're going to see the first 10 verses, and we are going to see the purports, beautiful purports, eternal purports of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj, Swami Prabhupada, and we're going to see the beautiful pastimes that are going to be unfurled before us as we dive deep into Chaitanya Bhagavat. So let's look at the first text. It's a great fortune that we also try to extend the Mangalacharan because that's the way that the authors have written, that they give these wonderful Mangalacharan verses and they glorify the Lord in every single chapter as we open up. So without further ado, let's go to the first text today. Jaya Jaya Shri Gaura Sandra Gaura Sundara Maheshwara Jaya Nityananda Priya Nitya Kalevara. So Jaya Jaya Shri Gaura Sundara. Jaya means all glories, all glories to none other than the Supreme Lord, Mahe Ishwara, the Supreme Lord. So Maheshwara is also generally called for Lord Shiva, but in this connotation, it is very clearly that here Maha Ishwara, the one who is the Lord amongst the Lord, one who is the supreme amongst all the lords, he is called as Sri Gaura Sundara. So this is very common that sometimes the address of the Supreme Lord is given like Bhagavan. So this word is also used in Srimad Bhagavatam for Narad Muni and many other devotees, sometimes for Lord Shiva as well. So, but the real person who can hold this title in its fullest capability is none other than the Supreme Lord, because he is the Lord of all lords. And he is the supreme controller. He is the supreme Ishvara. So here, Jaya Jaya Shri Gaura Sundara Maheshwara. So he is the one who is the Supreme Lord, Gaura Sundar. And at the same time, the salutations is being offered to none other than Nityananda Prabhu as well. And all glories to Nityananda's beloved Lord who possesses an eternal body. So again, Gaur Sundar is being very beautifully mentioned that he is very dear to Lord Nityananda. Jaya Nityananda Priya. So who is Priya to Nityananda? None other than Gaur Sundar. And Nitya Kalevara. Kalevara means bodily complexion. We see this word also in the 12 names of Lord Nityananda. Nityananda, Avadatendu, Vasudha Pranavallabha, Janavi Jivitapati, Krishna Prema Prada Prabhu, Padmavati, Shuta Shriman, Sachi Nandana Purvaja, Bhavonmata Jagatrata, Ratta Gaura Kalevaraha. So the last word there also is Kalevara, Ratta Gaura Kalevara. He is having a very golden complexion, bodily complexion. But here, the complexion of the color is not mentioned. The nature of the body is mentioned, which is an eternal body. Now, it's very important for us. It's very, very important for us that we understand in the Mangalacharan, in the first verse itself, why the eternal body is being glorified. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, in the 10th canto, in the 87th chapter, which is considered one of the most difficult chapters in the 10th canto, and in that there are various verses where the Vedas personified offer lot of glorifications to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In fact, this is considered as one of the most difficult chapters because there are many layers and sub-layers of meanings. Of course, when we speak about Vedas, they themselves are hidden and pregnant with so many different types of meanings, which is glorifying the Lord. And when they take upon the task to glorify the Lord, then what can we speak about ourselves? So in that Srimad Bhagavatam verse, which I will like to showcase it before you, there is a very beautiful verse. The verse which talks about how the Vedas glorify the Lord and his body as completely eternal in nature. So Rakta Kalevara, when we say about it, we have to understand that how deep the Vedas are explaining the Lord's body to be eternal. So in the 87th chapter, the Vedas in the 30th shloka, which is very complex, and I would like to share it in front of you right now. Just give me a minute. Let me stop share and share it again. Yes. I hope you can see it now. This is the shloka of the 87th chapter and the 30th verse. And I take it today because today I had an opportunity to speak about this verse. It's a very complex verse where the supremacy of the Lord is very clearly mentioned. The shloka says, Aparamita dhruvas tanubruto yadi sarvagatas tarina shashyateti niyamo dhruvanetarata ajani chanyanmayam tad avimuchya niyantar bhavet samam manujanatam yadamatam matadustastaya. So this is the verse where the Srimad Bhagavatam, the meaning says very complex. It says, if the countless living entities were all pervading and possessed forms that never change, you could not possibly be their absolute ruler, O immutable one. But since they are your localized expansions and their forms are subject to change, you do control them. So here in this verse, they are saying that the supreme, the jivas are not the supreme. How do they say that? They say that by using the philosophy of Nyaya and Vaisheshika. So these are the 6 different darshan shastras that we have in the Vedic scriptures. We have Nyaya, we have Vaisheshika, we have Yoga, we have Sankhya, we have the Mimamsa, the Purva Mimamsa, and the Uttara Mimamsa. So Uttara Mimamsa is there, and the Purva Mimamsa is Vedanta. So these were given by different sages. Like, for example, Nyaya was given by Gautama, Vaisheshika was given by Kannada, and Sankhya was given by Kapila. And we see that Vedanta was given by Vedvyas, Mimamsa was given by Jaimini, and Yoga was given by Patanjali. And each one of them describe the Lord in various different ways. But if you look at Nyaya, it tries to talk about the Supreme Lord through logic and through axioms. Or Vaisheshika would like to talk about the Lord in various different axioms that we can run. Axioms mean that which we do not need any support or truth to be substantiated. It can stand of its own. Now, you might be wondering why I'm speaking about this, just for the word called as eternal. So as per Nyaya and Vaisheshika logic, a soul or any object can have only 3 sizes. It can have a very infinitesimal size, it can have a medium size, and it can have a very infinite size. So by logic of negation, they are trying to prove, the Vedic scriptures are trying to prove that the soul is not the supreme Maheshwara or a supreme controller. The jiva is not the supreme controller, but it is the Lord who is the supreme controller. So how do they say that? The soul, if it is very infinitesimal, right, then there is an axiom in Nyaya and Vaisheshika that it cannot pervade all throughout the body, which we know. The soul is not all pervading throughout the body. It's the consciousness, and it's a symptom of the soul. But at the same time, the Supreme Lord is someone who is pervading all throughout the universe. So they're saying that if it is very, very small, then it cannot pervade all throughout the body. Then they saw this logic is unacceptable, that it is a very infinitesimal one. Then they say that the soul is very medium-sized. But if it is medium-sized, then there is an axiom in Nyaya and Vaisheshika which says if it is medium-sized, then you can further divide it into small parts. So if you can further divide it into small parts, that means it has changed its original form. But we learn in Bhagavad Gita that you cannot divide, you cannot cut, you cannot put it in fire. So this is not possible. So if it changes, if you can cut and change, then it is not eternal in nature. Because eternal means it doesn't undergo any change. It is faultless and it is always remaining as it is. So by these two logic, they actually prove that the soul is not the one who is eternal. Who is always eternal? It is the Lord. So that's why they say that, but since you are the localized expansions and their forms are subject to change. So because the soul's forms are subject to change, they cannot be called as eternal. So here, when we actually read this beautiful verse where they're calling Gaura Sundara as the one who is having an eternal body, Priya Nitya Kalevara, that means his body is eternal. It does not undergo changes into different bodily forms. He is always unchanging, right? So this is how the eternal form of the Lord is glorified in very well by the Vedas. So this is a very deep subject matter that even one word we can spend days and days talking about it, refuting it. And why are we speaking about Nyaya Vaisheshika? We will come to know in the next verses. So the second verse says, Jaya Jaya Sarva Vaishna Vera Dhana Pran Kripadrishte Kara Prabhu Sarva Jive Tran. All glories to the Lord, who is the life and wealth of all the Vaishnavas. O Lord, please deliver the living entities by your merciful glance. So look at the way the poet is writing these verses, that immediately when the Lord's eternal position is fixed upon the first verse, the second verse is naturally speaking about, please do the needful of giving us liberation or deliver the living entities by showing your merciful glance. By these two statements, the impersonalist philosophy is shattered completely. How? Because the Advaitavad or Shankaracharya would always say that Aham Brahmasmi, that everyone is the same and they are covered by illusion. But here it is said that if that is true, if everybody is the same and it is covered by illusion, then how is it possible that someone gets liberated and someone is left behind? Because that cannot happen. If everybody is same, if one person gets liberated, for example, if I and you are same by that logic, if I get liberated, how can you be left behind if because we both are same? So that logic does not apply, and Advaitavad is refuted there. So by this, they distinctly mention, the Vedic scriptures mention, that a jiva is not one single jiva. There are many, many jivas. So that is why this word, Prabhure Sarva Jive, these two words, Sarva Jive, is very important. It is not Prabhu Jivetrana. If somebody says Prabhu Jivetrana, that means there is only one jiva, or jive, or many one soul or two souls, if it is a plural form. But Sarva Jivetrana means definitely there are innumerable amount of souls. And though all those souls are there and the request is being made, right, is that you are the life and wealth of the Vaishnavas. Please deliver all these souls by showing your merciful glance. So while the two verses might seem very, very simple in their appearance, but every word in our Sanatan Dharma can be really understood in depth. The Lord's qualities can be understood in depth. The Lord's pastimes can be understood in depth. So it is very important that we read them with that finesse, and we read the scriptures with that intention, that why this word was chosen here. What was the reason behind the poet to choose this particular word here? Does it have any commonalities? Does it link with any of the next verses? Now, one might say, why are we looking at such commonalities, or why are we trying to force link ourselves with the verse which is coming up next? But then how else would we have realizations which are favorable to Krishna consciousness? We are not bound to have only the realizations which were of the previous acharyas. We can have realizations as well, as long as it is not breaking the barriers of Krishna consciousness, and it is favorable for us to execute Krishna consciousness, and which is given as instruction or is being allowed by the spiritual master to practice it in this way. So in those guardrails, in those boundaries, we are supposed to see, dissect, scrutinizingly study the Shastras so that we are able to try and understand that Krishna is so vast that we cannot understand him. That is the essence of Vedic studies. So in the same purport, 10.87.30, Gopi Paranadhana Prabhu and Hridayananda Maharaj, who have translated from Sri Jiva Goswami and also from Sridhar Swami, they mention very clearly that in the Kena Upanishad it is mentioned that if anybody gives an opinion that Krishna is like this, then that opinion has to be rejected because that is a false opinion. And they say, if somebody gives an opinion that they do not have an opinion about Krishna, that opinion should be accepted. Because it is not easy for one to understand Krishna, the depth of the Supreme Lord, the variety and the variegatedness of the Supreme Lord. That is why in the Bhagavatam, in the 10th canto, in the 14th chapter, in around say 38th verse, if I am not wrong, Brahma says that many people mention in the prayers of Lord Brahma, he says, many people do mention that they know about Krishna. But you know what? I'm going to be staying far away from such a claim because I would like to state it on record, and I'm quote unquote paraphrasing it. I would like to state it on record that by words, by mind, and by my action, I do not even know who the Supreme Personality of God is. And this is not coming out of humility alone. It is coming out of the mere fact that the Supreme Lord is very difficult to be understood. So that's why we offer glories. We use this word Jai, Jai, because we don't have any other words to offer to the Lord. We can only be aghast, or we can only be surprised, at the same time be happy in our heart that all glories, the word all glories is so important because we cannot define what is all. We cannot define the glories, the plural form of the glory. So what can we do? We can just say a common term, all glories, how much ever glories are there, infinite raised to infinite, all glories to you, O Supreme Lord. And that is how they start the chapter. Why? Because what's coming up next in the chapter are all about the glorious pastimes of the Lord, and each one is an ocean in itself. So how do we start them? By saying that all that is going to come, all your trip to Gaya, all your way that how you're going to walk, let me offer all glories unto you. So all glories to the Supreme Lord, who is the Maheshwara, Sri Gaura Sundara, who is the beloved deity, or who is the beloved of Nityananda Prabhu, who has an eternal body, and who is the life and wealth of all Vaishnavas. Please cast a merciful glance on the living entities, and so that they can be delivered from this birth and death. So with these, very soon, the poet is calling for action. It's a call to the readers that please pay attention. A beautiful pastime is going to unfurl out here. Adi khanda kata bhai suna savadhane, Shri Gaura Sundara Gaya Chali Laya Mane. Oh brothers, listen carefully to the topics of Adi Khanda, which describe the Lord's journey to Gaya. This word bhai is very, very wonderfully used as well. Bhai is calling for brothers. So are sisters not being called? Are the female folk being left aside? No. The general understanding it's sometimes it's used as a singular gender, but it applies for everyone, for all human races. So from brotherlyhood or sisterhood, you can say that because they share the same races. So So sometimes this bhai is used for the same race, or sometimes it is even used for people with different capabilities, but they are all considered as one with the united notion of why they are gathering together. Like in the beautiful um, song of Lochandas Thakur, he again addresses as if a boatman is singing on one side. And I've said that this in the past as well, that how he addresses very beautifully. He sings out loud from the ghat of Mayapur, where Gauranga used to take bath. He sings that Amara Gaurangera Ghate Adani Keyavaya Adani Keyavaya. So he says that Amar Gaurangera Ghate, around in the bathing ghats of Gauranga, there is a beautiful ferry boat which is standing there. And oh brothers, oh brothers, oh brothers, who will go across to that ferry boat? Who will go across to the other side of the shore, which is nothing but crossing the material ocean of birth and death? Ke jabi ke jabi re bha Bhava Sindhupa. Again, he is addressing, oh brothers, oh brothers, oh brothers, who will go? Because in this boat, everybody is going. Jada anda atura. Jada anda atura, the one who is distressed, one who is lame, one who is blind. Everybody is climbing onto the boat. But one may ask, how is this boat owing? Dubahu Pashuri. He says, Dubahu Pashuri, with the two arms upraised. What are they doing? Sankirtana Kero Yala. They are actually singing Harinam, and by raised arms, they're running this boat as if these two hands are the oars. And they are crossing over Bhavasindupar. And the Guru is the captain of the ship. And the favorable winds are of Krishna Prem. And everybody is crossing. Nobody is being left behind. So this is the mood of the Acharyas, calling out, a call for action. Everybody, come aboard, jump onto this ferry boat, free of cost, taking you across the material ocean, and learn about this and hear about this, and everybody is welcome. But at the end, Lochandas Thakur gives a very big anticlimax. He says that everybody has gone to the other side and gained Krishna Prem. Sabajiva haila par preme ravatashe hari preme ravatashe. Sabajiva haila par. All the jivas have gone onto the other side and have got the supreme glorious Krishna Prem. Apala rohile lochan apanara doshe. Padila rohile lochan. He says, but there's only one person who is left behind, and that is none other than Lochandas Thakur. So this calling out for brothers, sisters, everybody, irrespective, because you have the same notion to cross over this material ocean, please come. So this is the same kind of call out which is happening here, but listening to Chaitanya Bhagavat in itself can help us to cross over this material ocean, because it's fully potent with the pastimes of the Lord. So that is why he has said, oh brothers, listen carefully to the topics of Adi Khanda, which describe the Lord's journey to Gaya. So this journey of Gaya is very, very beautiful. So where is Gaya? Gaya is in the modern state of Bihar. Of course, it's a spiritual dham. It's named after the demon called as Gayasur. There's a beautiful pastime of Gaya where the demon Gaya, his name was Gayasur. He was born in an Asura family. And though he was born in an Asura family, he was very devoted in nature. And he meditated in this place of Gaya. And he was meditating on Lord Vishnu, and Lord Vishnu was very satisfied with his meditation, and he appeared. And Gayasur said, I need a boon from you. And Lord Vishnu said, I'm very satisfied. What kind of boon would you like to have? And Gayasur mentioned that at the time of death, if I touch anybody who is dying, he should go to heaven. So he said, Tathastu, fine, you will get this blessing. And it so happened that whoever was about to die and Gayasur would go and touch, that person would go to heaven. And so much so that Yama had a big problem, because all the people who had big libraries of bad activities, they had this secret way of entering heaven, which is just before death, just go to Gayasur and let him touch you and you will come to heaven. So Yamraj sent a petition to Lord Vishnu, to Brahma, and they all assembled together and they thought about what to do. But Lord Vishnu said, I have given him this boon, I can't take it back. So they thought that, if we stop Gayasur from doing a certain activity of him touching other dying people, then maybe we can get our universal order back in place. So they came down to this place and they saw Gayasur lying down. And they said that your body is very suitable for doing a great yajna. So looking at all the demigods present there, and Gayasur agreed. He lied down and he said, use my stomach, use my body entirely, and you can do the yajna on top of my body. So for many years, they did the yajna. But after some time, if you're lying in a simple, straight position, you would like to take a change. You would like to change yourself. You would like to, kind of take a sleep on the sides. So when he wanted to do that, Lord Brahma said, this is going to disturb the yajna, and now he's going to wake up and this is going to cause problem again. So they all prayed to Lord Vishnu. And Lord Vishnu came there and he kept a big mountain on top of the stomach of Gaya so that he could not turn. But still, Gayasur was so potent, he was such devoted, he was about to turn. So the Lord literally stood on top of the stone. So that is the picture that you get out here on my screen. You can see that is the Vishnu Pad. That is the 1 feet of the Lord, which is on top of the stone and which is on top of the stomach of Gayasur. And the Lord gave him a boon that because you're so devoted to me and my lotus feet is touching you indirectly through the stone, hence this whole place will be called as Gaya. And people will get the supreme benefit of offering oblations to their forefathers when they come here. So thinking about this way, the Lord also wanted to journey to Gaya. And that is what is being mentioned in the next verses. He namate navadipe Shri Vaikuntha Natha Adhyapaka Shiromani Rupe Karavasa. The Lord of Vaikuntha, who is residing in Navadvip, that is Gaur Sundar, as the crest jewel of teachers. But now he wanted to come down to Gaya. Chaturdikhe Pashanda Bada E Guru Tara Bhakti Yoga Nana Haile Sunita Duskara Mitya Rashe Dekhi Ati Lokera Adara Bhakta Sabha Dukha Bada Bhavena Antara. So at that time, while he was residing in Navadvip, he saw that the number of atheists had increased in Navadvip. It was even difficult to hear the name of pure devotional service. Devotees were all distressed to see that people were simply attached to illusory pleasures. So if some of us are complaining about the Kali Yuga today, these verses should give us a glimpse of how Navadvip was when Gaur Sundar Mahaprabhu was there personally. It is being mentioned that the Kali Yuga was going through, the people in Kali Yuga were very attached to sensory pleasures, and discussions about devotional service was very difficult. The purport of this verse also talks about the 308th verse, where there was a detailed account of how Kali Yuga had progressed and how Haridas Thakur was feeling very bad for the devotees who are present in Kali Yuga. So here, many of people, they were deceitful, they were envious, and they were doing a lot of abominable activities. And they were fragmenting imaginary processes, and they were doing rituals as per their taste and their mood swings. And nobody was speaking about pure devotional service. And because people were generally grossly foolish because they were attached to sense gratification, and they were sometimes mental speculation, they were mystic yogic teachers, and nobody was interested to give oral reception to devotional service. And hence, when there is no oral reception to devotional service, what generally happens is the heart becomes polluted. And people are indulging in the sensory objects. So nobody is drinking the real nectar. And what is the real nectar? The topmost fruit of the tallest tree. And that is none other than which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is going to inaugurate and start to give. The Vedic literature is like the beautiful forest, and there are many trees. But the tallest tree is Srimad Bhagavatam. And in that tallest tree, you have many fruits. There are various different fruits. There are fruits of Sharanagati. There is fruits of different rasas of Dasya, Sakhya, Vatsalya. But the topmost fruit is the one that is given by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which is Braj Bhakti, Krishna Prem. So here he is going to come back and inaugurate this Nam Sankirtan movement. And this is his first journey to Gaya. And he is finding that the people are not interested in the pure devotional service topics. So he wants to go and establish this. And this is very clear. We understand Dharma Samsthapanarthaya Sambhavami Yuge Yuge. So he would like to come and establish Dharma Samsthapana. And what is the Kali Yuga Dharma? Which is the congregational chanting of the holy names. So he felt distress in the hearts for persons that they are not getting the topmost fruit of the tallest tree, which is Krishna Prem. And he wanted to come down and distribute this. So what did he do? Text 7 says, Prabhu se avishta hai achena adhyayane bhakta sabha dukha paya dekhe na apane. Although the Lord was absorbed in studying and teaching, he noted the devotees' distress. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya chadushkritam. So to punish the miscreants and to protect the devotees, he is always ready to share his pastimes and also to protect the devotees. And because devotees were in distress, he thought, let me do this. He heard how miscreants were constantly blaspheming the Vaishnavas. So Niravadi Vaishnavera Sabha Re Dushta Gane Nindakari Bhule Tata Sunera Apane. So Gaur Sundara is hearing how the miscreants were constantly blaming the Vaishnavas. And he was seeing that there were sinful propensities which were prevalent at that time. There were people who were in miserable condition of life, people who were not having friendships, people were being envious of each other. Nobody had this servantal mood. They were all pride and puffed up. There was no compassion in the society. And there were a lot of enviousness which was floating around, because of which devotees were constantly not addressed properly, or devotees were not spoken to properly. So when all such criticism was prevalent and such a torture was prevalent, Lord Gaurasundara thought that he needs to take action. So the last two verses here, which is for today, mentions about his visit to Gaya. Chitte chahaila atma prakasha karite bhavilena age ashi giya Gaya haite ichha maya Shri Gaura Sundara Bhagavan Gaya bhumi deki te haila ichhataranan. The Lord thus desired to manifest himself, but he thought he should first visit Gaya. The supremely independent Lord Gaurasundara desired to see the holy place of Gaya. So we saw that how Gaya is holy because Vishnupad is there. Not only Vishnupad, there are many other Vedis. Generally, these places in Gaya are called as Vedis. And generally, it is said there are 45 different Vedis in Gaya. So anybody who wants to offer oblations to the Pitra or to the forefathers, they can offer oblations into, or the Shraddha or the Pindadan into any of these 45 Vedis. If you offer it in all 45 Vedis, it is considered a great achievement. But minimum, one should offer the oblations in 3 places. And these are the places of Vishnupad, which is nothing but the Lord's lotus feet. One should offer the oblations near Akshayavat, which is a tree, an Akshaya tree, which was blessed by Mother Sita. And one should also offer oblations in a place called as Falgu River, the Falgu River, which actually flows through Gaya. So these three are very, very famous places, the three minimum Vedis where one can offer oblations. Later in the chapter, it also mentions about how Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will offer oblations for Jagannath Mishra across in 17 different Vedis, 17 different places. He will offer in Pretshila, he will offer in Uttamanas, Dakshinmanas, Bhim Yudhishthir, Shiv Gaya, like those 17 different places in Gaya, he will offer his oblations for Jagannath Mishra. So this place, Gaya, is very, 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 very spiritual in nature. It is mentioned in the Shastras that it's not only Chaitanya Mahaprabhu who visited. In Chaitanya Bhagavata, in this chapter itself, it is mentioned that Lord Buddha's place was also Gaya. So while the Hindus or the Sanatana Dharma followers consider Gaya as a Mukti Tirtha, that where you attain liberation, the Buddhists consider Bodh Gaya as Jnana Tirtha, where Lord Gautam Buddha, he got the revelation, the knowledge that is being as mentioned by the Buddhists. So this is generally seen as a very, very wonderful place. Many people have this question that should we offer oblations to our forefathers since we are devotees? And sometimes people ask this very common question that if my father or forefather or my ancestors have already reached Vaikuntha, then what is the necessity? One, we don't get a post or a telegram that they have surely reached. So it is our duty to continue to do so. So should we offer Pinda and Dana if we are a devotee? The answer is we should. We should absolutely do it, because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is showcasing that he also did this, who is the Supreme Lord himself. And he says that even Lord Ramchandra and Mother Sita, they both came and did this for Dasharatha. So we see that the lordships themselves, they offer oblations. No, but then this is all karma kanda activities, hence why are we supposed to do? No, we can do it from a devotional point of view, that this is for ensuring that our debt towards the Pitras are removed. No, but in Bhagavatam we have heard, that once you take to Krishna consciousness, you don't have any debt. It's very clearly mentioned in the Bhagavatam that it is for a pure devotee. And since we have not reached that stage, we still have debts, and we are supposed to do our duty of offering oblations. But then I do not have a son, I have a woman. Can women do oblations? Can they do pindadan? These questions are also asked. And the Shastras, Ramayana speaks in a very nice way how Mother Sita offered oblations to Dasharatha, who was the father-in-law. Forget about ancestors. So the story goes that Rama wanted to offer oblations to Dasharatha, and he sent Lakshmana to get the ingredients to perform the Shraddha ceremony. Time was running. Lakshmana did not return on time. So Rama stepped outside and thought that I will get the ingredients for the Shraddha myself. And when he also stepped outside, he didn't come back on time. Dasharatha appeared there as a spirit, and he asked Mother Sita, can you give me the oblations? She said, you have to wait a bit, because my husband and my brother-in-law both have gone to get the ingredients. I will cook, and then I will offer the pinda and the shraddha for you. Dasharatha said, I don't have so much of time. So Mother Sita, there is a place in Gaya, which is a very beautiful place. If devotees go there, they should definitely visit this place, which is called as the Sita. The Sita, it's called Sita Kund, and which is very next to the Falgu River. What she did was she sat down, she took some sand and made it as if a pinda, and she gave it to Dasharatha, and Dasharatha accepted it. So it is said that because Dasharatha accepted with both hands And he said, I'm very happy. Then Sita said, but you know what? Lord Ramchandra will not believe if I said that I gave these oblations to you. So she looked at 4 or 5 living entities and she said, you will be my witness. First, she said, Falgu River, you are flowing here. You will be the witness that I gave the oblations, the shraddhas to Dasharatha. Then she looked at Akshay Vat. There was a banyan tree there. She said, banyan tree, you are a witness that I have given these oblations to Dasharatha. She looked at a cow which was there and she said, you are also a witness that I am giving these oblations to Dasharatha. And in this way, she said that I have done this task. And when Lord Rama and Lakshmana came back, they said they were trying to offer oblations to Dasharatha, but he was not appearing. And Rama was asking Sita, why is my father not appearing? Because I want to give him oblations. I want to give him Shraddha. And Sita said, because he has already accepted it from my hand. And Rama said, how do I know? Do you have any witnesses? And immediately she said, yes, I have the banyan tree, I have the river, and I have the cow, who is a witness of this particular act. And when Lord Rama heard, he asked the cow, and the cow said, no, I am not the witness. And Sita was enraged. She said, you saw that I actually gave the oblations to Dasharatha. How can you say that you are not the witness? And then Rama asked the Falgu River, do you accept this fact? And are you the witness that Mother Sita gave the oblations to my father? Falgu River said, I do not know. Both of them, they lied. But the Akshay Vat, the banyan tree, said, I witnessed this event. And till date, that Akshay tree is standing right outside her temple. So it is one of the most important Vedis where one is supposed to give the oblations to the forefathers. So Sita, being enraged, she cursed the other two. She said that Falgu River, because you are drying up in your truth, you will also dry up at times when the rain doesn't fall. So even today, Falgu River dries up when there is no rain because of this curse. And to Mother Cow, also she gave a curse. She said that though all parts of your body is considered to be pure, your mouth will be considered as impure because you uttered lies. So even today, the mouth and the saliva of Mother Cow is considered as impure. The mouth of the cow is considered impure, but as all that she produces is considered as pure. So by this pastime, the Lord is also, through Ramayana, is ensuring that even the women can perform Pindadan. So even today in Gaya, these oblations are offered. How do they reach the ancestors? This is another common question, which is commonly asked. It is reaching the ancestors because in the Garud Puran, it is mentioned that when the oblations are offered, these oblations go via Varuna, that is the water, which is there, Falgu River. It goes to Varuna, it deposits to Lord Vishnu. Lord Vishnu deposits it to the sun god, and the sun god dissipates the benefits and energizes and gives this food in the form of rays and others to all the other living entities and ancestors who are there in various different planets. So this is how it gets dissipated. This is the medium by which it flows. The oblations go from one place to another. So devotees should have a sense of gratitude towards ancestors. And people come to Gaya, and Gaur Sundara especially visited here to perform in the 17 Vedis, the Shraddha ceremony for his father Jagannath Mishra. But his intention was to also drive out the Buddhists, see the Vishnupad, which is a beautiful temple, and he wanted to ensure that the Buddhist philosophy is driven out, and this godless society, which is based on the Mayavadi or the Shunyavadi philosophy, that is driven out, and pure devotional service, which is the topmost fruit of the tallest tree, that is given to each one of the jivas which is present here. So this is a beautiful travel journey epilogue that is going to happen as we narrate ahead, but we will wait, and we will wait for one more day where tomorrow more such verses will be unveiled, where the Lord Gaurasundara is now going to roam around Gaya, and he's going to see the beautiful places, and he's going to bless the holy land of Gaya with his lotus feet. He's going to march, trample on the little sandy banks of Falgu River. He's going to go to Pretshila. He's going to go to a place where Bhima and Yudhishthira also did their Shraddha. He's going to go to Ram Ghat, where Rama did the Shraddha. He's going to Sita Ghat. All these places he would traverse, and we would like to traverse with him. So let's meditate on these beautiful places. And if we get a chance, let us also dive deep and also get rid of our debts to our ancestors by performing the requisite oblations. And we should have a sense of gratitude. It is because of them that we get our progeny. It is because of them that we keep going. Because there are three activities by which we absolve our debt to our ancestors, which is while they are living, we should obey their orders. By just obeying the orders of our forefathers, we are absolved from the sin of not repaying the debt. And similarly, when they are about to depart, we should give a big feast. Just by giving that feast on the 13th day, on the 10th day, we are absolved from the sin of our forefathers. And at the end, we should do, when they have departed this world, we should offer oblations, which is also a way of absolving our sin of not repaying the debt. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is showing this way, and he's earmarking all the devotees on a great journey which is going to come, which is inaugurating the congregational chanting of the holy name, and he's going to meet Ishvara Puri, have conversations. All this we will see next as we unfold the verses. Thank you very, very much, my dear devotees, for a patient hearing. I know it's been a bit of a monologue and not an interactive one, but I hope these pastimes of the Lord and also about Gaya as a Tirthasthan was relishable to hear. Yadastas kalitam kinchit vidhvamsat purayantu tat yadastat saushrubam kinchit tad guroreva me nahi. If there are any mistakes or incorrectness in the presentation, you're all Vaishnavas, senior Vaishnavis, Vidvans, please correct them and make it more relishable for all of us to drink the nectar of the Lord. And if there were anything that was good, all glories go to Srila Prabhupada, my spiritual masters, my Shiksha Gurus, and also the inspiration of all the Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis who are present here. Thank you very much. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai. There's still some time. If there are any questions, comments, feedbacks, critics, they can definitely speak on the same. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for this very, very wonderful class, Prabhuji. You started the class with Nitya Kalevara definition. It's very, very nice, Prabhu. And all the Bodha Gaya or Gaya's significance, very nice, Prabhu. Prabhu, in this class, I have two questions, Prabhu. Can I ask, Prabhu?
Yes, please go ahead.
So, Prabhu, you have given the definition of a soul size like infinite, medium, and infinity. So, what is the difference between infinite and infinity?
Infinitesimal means absolutely very, very small, which is very small. It's called as infinitesimal. And infinite is the other side. I mean, it's infinite. Its size cannot be measured again because it's too large. The problem with infinitesimal is that one of the Nyaya, in the Nyaya Shastra, it mentions that if it is too small, it cannot pervade all throughout the body. But the souls are called as Sarvagata. In 2.24 in Bhagavad Gita, it is mentioned they are Sarvagata. Sarvagata means that they are either omnipresent or they are all-pervading. These are the two meanings of Sarvagata. So from that perspective, if they are too infinitesimal, they cannot be all-pervading. They can be only localized to one particular place. But Prabhupada in 2.24 mentions Bhagavad Gita very wonderfully that Sarvagata is only possible when they reside as this infinitesimal part in different bodies. And these different bodies, these jivas, are many in nature, and they reside in Bhumi, Rapo, Nalo, Vayu. They reside in water, they reside in fire, they reside in ether. So this is the infinitesimal part. And infinite means they are large, super large. That means one soul in itself is so large as if they are as large as the universe or the cosmic manifestation. The Nyaya says that is also not possible. Because if they are so large as the cosmic manifestation in itself, then they cannot be covered by material Maya, by avidya. They cannot be covered by ignorance. And because they cannot be covered, then they are faultless. And if they are faultless, they should not change, but they change. So hence they are not eternal. So these are all Nyaya and Vaisheshika logic, by which logically they want to prove that the jiva is not the supreme, but it's the supreme Lord who is the ultimate Lord of all lords. I know it's more logical and Nyaya and Vaisheshika, but in short, small, infinitesimal is very small, infinite is very, very large. That's the difference. Does that answer the question, Mataji?
I got it, Prabhu, but it is difficult for me to correlate for the soul, Prabhu. But I'll try to listen more and I'll try to correlate, Prabhu. But thank you so much, Prabhu. And I have one more question, Prabhu. Before asking, I would like the participants, if they have any more questions. If there are no more, then I can go ahead. So Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Yeah, I see Bhakti Sangha Japa group. Yeah, please go ahead, Mataji. Please go ahead with your question.
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you so much. It was a very, very interesting, thought-provoking class. Prabhu, I just had two clarifications. The first thing is about the Pindadan part that you were mentioning. So this pastime is more from the Dham Mahatmya of Gaya, of Sita Devi.
Yes, it's in the Dham Mahatmya. And also in Chaitanya Bhagavata itself, there will be a mention of the place called Ram Ghat, where he went as when he performed the pastime as Lord Ramchandra. So there is our scripture which we are reading itself will form as a pramana for that pastime.
I see. Interesting. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you for bringing that up.
Thank you.
And the other thing was about when you were talking about the Shad Darshans. You spoke about Vaisheshika, Nyaya, all of that. But the understanding, I don't know, you can please correct me and probably elaborate to help me understand this better. So the general understanding that I have is that most of these philosophies are not really geared towards understanding the supreme absolute truth, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So then when we say the concept of Nyaya, or we mean to say through Nyaya and Vaisheshika, it can be analyzed like this. Is that what we're trying to get at when we talk about the soul? Or,
yeah.
Okay.
So let me just show you a screen. Sorry, this is in Hindi, but let me just still nevertheless answer your query if this answers it a bit. Can you see the screen?
Yes.
Okay. So what it does is these are the 6 different schools of thought. Okay. So Nyaya, Sankhya, Vaisheshika, Yoga, Mimamsa, Purva. So the Nyaya is called as realism. When it's called realism means they use logic and they believe that senses and logic can lead to the supreme. But again, as you rightly said, this does not give us a full understanding. But this is still a way or a medium for us to understand certain aspects. Sankhya, by Kapila, gives dualism. It talks about the soul and it talks about the nature. But then again, not so much about the Lord's direct influence of nature and how that happens. Not much about it. Vaisheshika, it talks more about naturalism, which means how atoms are formed, how metaphysics is done, and how Kannad, as a sage mentions, all these metaphysics, atoms, how they combine, all of that, and axioms of what happens to a matter, what happens to energy, all those physical, metaphysical laws through which they would like to understand nature and understand the universe. Yoga is asceticism, which is Patanjali, which tries to understand it through body, mind, asana, try to understand what's the connection between body, mind, etc. So you see that these are different ways. And Mimamsa talks about yajna and mantras, which is now sound vibration. And finally, Vyasa talks about theism, where he talks about the Lord, nature, and soul. So all Advaita, Shankaravada, Vishishtadvaita, everything comes in the Vedanta philosophies. So the Vaishnavism, the Shaivism, and everything comes here. But because the reason I was saying is this Nyaya and Vaisheshika are also limbs of the Vedic scriptures, which is the Ched Darshanas. So the Vedic scriptures are utilizing all mediums to prove, which is otherwise was not formed, to even say that you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Got it. Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Thank
Professor.
you. Thank you, Mother.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Anybody have any questions or would like to share the realizations with Prabhu for today's class?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Koti Koti Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev Ki Jai, Gopinath Ki Jai. As usual, Prabhuji, so many things we're learning from your class. Prabhuji, you sing one bhajan can you please sing again by the mercy of, by the permission of all Bhakti Sangha teachers, or that is a sloka from Sri Chaitanya Bhagavata. I think that is a song, but Vaishnav song I never hear. Can you please repeat it, Prabhuji? Koti Koti Dandavat Pranam, Hare Krishna.
Yeah, maybe at the end, Mataji, if others have no questions, maybe at the end, if that is okay. And if the audience...
Yeah, sure, Prabhu. Yeah, we can do
sure.
it.
Anybody else with any questions?
I don't think any raised hands, Prabhu. So can I go ahead with my second question, Prabhu?
Yes, Mataji.
So Prabhu, I heard from Ramayana how Lord Ramachandra offered his oblations, and in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Leela also we had, but because of maybe of my poor knowledge, I never heard in Krishna offering his oblations or Pindadana in his appearance, Prabhu. Are there any instances where Krishna did all these, Prabhu?
There is an instance in Mahabharata where he takes all the people after the Kurukshetra Yajna, after the Kurukshetra battle, and Krishna offers oblations to the departed souls. And he urges all the Pandavas to do the same. There is also mention of how Karna was always giving gold in charity, and he does not get heaven. And Indra says, and he doesn't get food in heaven. And Karna says, why am I not getting food? And I'm getting only golden plates. And Indra says that because you never offered Pindadan, you only gave gold. Offering ancestors, the Pinda is important. So then 15 days Karna comes down, and then he offers Pindadan, and then he gets back the food. But yes, in that pastime, it is also mentioned of how Krishna urges everyone to do the oblations in Kurukshetra.
Okay. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Yeah, I see Bhakti Sangha Japa group. Mataji, yeah, please go ahead, Mataji.
Sorry, Prabhu, I have another question. I just got reminded. So in that Gayasur pastime, he says that whoever he says that person would go to heaven, right? So why do people go to Gaya and do the Shradam for emancipation, like, final liberation? Why do they do that? I didn't get that. I didn't get the correlation.
Yeah. So very good question. So Gayasur got this boon that whoever dies and he sees them, they will go to heaven. But Lord gave the boon to after he never moved, because the Lord's lotus feet is there in Gaya. So anybody who is offering oblations and they are offering it directly to Lord Vishnu and it is accepted, and as a reciprocation, Lord gave this boon that anybody who offers oblations here, it will be accepted and they will achieve mukti. They will achieve liberation, their ancestors. Anybody who is in a ghostly form and others, they also can have specific places where they can offer, they will be free from their reactions. So due to Gayasur's noble activity, the Lord appeared there and his lotus feet can be seen there. And so any oblations directly, anything that is touching the Lord, that person will get liberated. And Mother Sita's blessings also, which is on the Akshaya Vat, because the banyan tree was the only tree which told the truth. So anybody who gives oblations there, their oblations will never go in vain. It will be considered spiritual. And that is also an attribute of the spiritual sky. So hence they will get liberation.
Prabhu, this is a connected question. I know it's a
Yes.
little off topic, but
Hmm.
because we were talking about the river, the cow, and the
Hmm.
Akshaya Vat, and the river not being standing up for Sita. So the same thing happens in the Ramayana where Godavari doesn't tell where she goes. So, is there any reason why that happens?
They were afraid. So Godavari, when Lord Ramchandra comes and asks the river Godavari, can you tell me where Mother Sita has gone? She doesn't reply. Now, one may say that how can rivers reply? Rivers can reply by changing their course of direction, because the question that was asked to Godavari was, can you tell me the direction in which way did Sita go? And Godavari did not reply because she was very afraid of Ravana. And why was she afraid of Ravana? Because Ravana, when he was fighting with Kartavirya Arjuna, he had once stopped the flow of Godavari or some other river, or Godavari, I guess, with his hands. And Kartavirya Arjuna had stopped the flow of the river and with his hands, and she had to alter her course. So she was very afraid of these asuras and demons. But nevertheless, while this was one of the reasons she did not say the answer back to Lord Ramchandra. But nevertheless, the Acharyas mentioned that she regained her position as one of the most pious rivers. And how is that? Because the Goda Devi, the Andal, she was named after, or she shared her name with Andal or Goda. And because she is a river, a stream of pasurams or poems on Lord Ranganath, she regained her pristine beauty, and also she got included again into the great rivers, the mention amongst the great rivers. Narmada, Sindhu, Kaveri, Jalesmin,
Sannidhi Guru.
Yes.
Nice, very nice. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. So in this Gaya, yeah, please go ahead, Mataji.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mataji. Sorry, I'm so sorry.
Okay. Yeah, in this Gaya connection, Prabhu, this is in the like in the Bihar north, and
Yes.
I came from Andhra Pradesh. So in the Andhra Pradesh, there is a story that the legs of the Gayasur are in one place near West Godavari and East Godavari, and that is they believe as Dakshina Gaya.
Yeah, so he was a huge, I did not know if I can, he was lying down in a huge, he was an Asura, so he was too huge, and that's why they used him as one of the sacrificial altars. Yes, it's quite possible that his body would have been there from Gaya in Bihar up to
Yeah,
Andhra.
somewhere they
Quite
describe
possible.
the middle part also, Prabhu. The middle part is somewhere, and the legs are in this Andhra Pradesh, near Godavari districts. So that is called as Dakshina Gaya.
Okay.
Yeah.
Quite possible.
Yeah, thank you. Kitida Mataji, please go ahead, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dhanvat Pranam. So
Hare Krishna,
glory to
Mataji.
God. Thank you for such a beautiful session, and especially churning out the word eternal. It was really good, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mataji.
So again, coming back to this topic of offering oblations in Gaya. So it is said, like, I don't know how far it is right, please correct me, as per our Krishna conscious way, that normally we offer Shraddha to our forefathers every year, right? As you said, that we are not on that pure level, so we should do it. But if somebody has done the oblations in Gayaji, so still they do have to do it every year, or it's done forever?
So as a part of the duty we should do, so gratitude is, so if when we are having gratitude, it's a show of gratitude and love. These are the two activities. And show of gratitude and love is infinite in nature when we actually perform it. So if we perform it in Gaya, yes, Gaya is the ultimate place. You can do it as the best place to do because it goes to the Lord. However, we don't see it and do it in a fashion that if Gaya is the ultimate place, so we have done, so we don't need to do it again. In fact, in the mantras, while offering oblations, every place you do is considered as Gaya and done. So that is how it is done. So when we do it at the house also, the oblations, the first mantra is to say that this is Gaya. And understanding that the plate is nothing but the Gaya's Vishnupad, then you keep the Vishnupad and then you do the oblations. So the intent is that it should be done every time in Gaya, but people cannot go. So this opportunity is given. So the fact is we should continue and we should do, as long as we live, we should show our gratitude and love towards the ancestors.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhu. Thank you so much. And another question. Sorry, I'm taking
Yes,
my
Mataji.
time.
No problem.
There is
Yes,
also
please.
a place like near Rameshwaram where Lord Ramachandra performed this pastime, this oblations to his father Dashrath.
He generally did not perform in Rameshwaram. He
Near
performed it near
Rameshwaram.
Chitrakoot.
I don't remember
But-
the exact name.
But yes, but they do also offer the oblations in near Setu. This is called as Adi Setu Karai near Rameshwaram. And the temple's name is called Tirupullani.
Yeah,
Tirupullani means Tirupullani temple. This
Yeah.
Tirupullani temple is the Darpashayana Rama. Lord Ramchandra is lying down in the Darpashayana, which is in the Darbas for the ocean god, and he is lying down there. So there generally people do Pitru Homas, where ancestors' issues can be solved. So it's a very nice place where the Adi Setu Kara is the original place from where the Setu was done. Because it's mentioned that one who sees the Setu and one who performs oblations in the Setu, their ancestors are completely pleased. So,
but still after, like last year we did for our parents. So still after that, as you said, that as a matter, as a respect, as a matter of gratitude, we should do it every year.
sure. Because it's the gratitude is and love. If somebody has really helped us by giving, and please let us see what is that gratitude. That gratitude is this flesh and bone, this body where the spirit soul can reside. That's given by them. And it is being nourished, protected, all tidings, good husband, wife, children, progeny, wealth. It's all coming from Krishna, but also due to the blessings, and we are very happy and gratitude. So that is being offered. So we are not offering them as alone as gods and goddesses. We are saying that all this is being blessed in this family by Krishna. So we are offering gratitude to you because you have been a conduit to give these blessings of Krishna. And hence we would like to give it back to Krishna to do this. So we're connecting Krishna very much within the root of this activity. At the same time, we are showing gratitude to, like Gurujanas, we show gratitude to Gurujanas, we show gratitude to Shastras, we show gratitude to forefathers.
Yeah. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you so much for clarifying that. And thank you for your wonderful session, for your association. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Thank you so much. So, Prabhu, I have another question in this regard only, Prabhu.
Please,
so, people who are staying away from Bodh Gaya or who are very far, then I heard that they offer these oblations to Mother Cow also, whatever they cooked on that day. Is it correct, Prabhu?
So generally, the pinda is given to crows, it's given to all jivas. Yeah. So it is given. So that is part of it. So it's not a substitute to Gaya. Whenever they offer oblations, they take the mantras of Gaya. The advantage of Gaya is that one need not see, because the place itself is so pure, one need not see whether it's a good time, bad time to do. Generally, if somebody is doing it at their place, they need to see the exact time, the tithi, etc. But if somebody is in Gaya, every minute is considered to be auspicious. So one need not see the tithi of when it is to be done, right? So generally, at home, you need to see the tithi and then do it. But otherwise, if you are in Gaya, there is no Tithi. There you can do it. And feeding to all living entities, it is always there as a part of the Vedic culture.
Okay, okay. Got it, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu. Yeah. Parima Mataji, please go ahead, Mataji, with your question.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Just one
Hare
quick
Krishna.
question.
Yes, ma'am.
Prabhuji, thank you first of all for a very, very wonderful class, Prabhuji.
you.
And Prabhuji, I had this question. If there is no son in the family, who can do it in Gaya?
In Gaya, the women can also do it. Sita Maya did it.
Okay, all right.
And in fact, in Gaya, there are provisions that you can do it for the entire world. The Pandits tell the mantras, anybody can do for any living entity. There need not be a relationship. This is the potency of the Dham. That if there are any unnatural deaths of friends, of family members, they can do it there. Anybody else can do. Because our philosophy is, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, it is one single family. All living entities are part and parcel of Krishna.
So this Prabhuji, this in Gaya we are supposed to do the Pindadan, right?
Yeah.
But it's not like Tithi bound, like it's not during the Shraddha Paksha, it can be done anytime. Okay.
That is my understanding, and that is what I have heard from Panditas.
Okay.
It can be done anytime because the Sthala Mahatmya is greater than Tithi Mahatmya.
Okay, Prabhuji, thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Okay. Thank you so much, Prabhu. I have some, we have some chat also, Prabhu. I think.
But there are no questions, so it's okay, Mataji. Thank you.
Yeah, no questions. Yeah. Yes, Prabhu. Yeah. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Once again, Prabhu, for coming on the call and giving this very enlightening class, Prabhu. So with this, I would like to pay my obeisances to you and all the devotees on the call. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya vacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo nama. Anantakoti Vaishnav Vrindi ki jai. Ramacharya.
Prabhuji has to sing that song and honor.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yeah, please go.
So this is I do not know the time. Please correct me if the time is overshot by a long time.
That's okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So fine. Let me just showcase the song, and then we can. Okay, I'm sharing my screen again so that we can see. So this is a song written by Lochandas Thakur, and this is a very small song. And this is a song which is sung in a tune which is as if a boatman is calling out. Ke jabi re bhava sindhu pa Hivadanya Kali Yugera Chaitanya Vata Chaitanya Avata Amara Gaurange Raghate Adhana Kheyavaya Adhana Kheyavaya Jadanda Atura Avadi Parahaya Avadi Parahaya Harina Mera Naukha Hani Shri Guru Kandari Shri Guru Kandari Sankirtana Kheroyala Dubahu Pashari Dubahu Pashari Sab jiva haila par premera vatashe Sab jiva haila par premera vatashe Padiyar hila lochan Padiyar hila lochan Aparnar doshe Aparnar doshe ke jabi re bha Bhava Sindhupa. Who will go? Who will go? Who will go, brothers? Who will cross over this ocean of material suffering? This Kali Yuga in which Sri Chaitanya Avatar has appeared is blessed. Chaitanya Avatar does not come in every Kali Yuga. At the bathing of place of my Gauranga, a free ferry boat is waiting. There is no restriction. Everyone is coming, including the lame, the blind, and the distressed. All are climbing aboard to cross over. Harinam is the boat, Sri Guru is the helmsman, and Sankirtana party moving up with upraised arms are the oars. All souls can cross over with the favorable winds of prema. Only Lochan Das is so unfortunate that due to his own fault, Apanara Doshe, he has been left behind. So with such humility, Lochan Das Thakur is praying. I wish you all a very, very happy Gaur Purnim, holy festival, which is upcoming. And wish you all a very happy Gaur Purnima. And we can all meditate on Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I hope, Mataji, that helps. Vinda Gopika Mataji, that is helpful.
Yes, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna, Koti Koti Dandavat Pranam to you and all this. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you for teaching us such a nice Vaishnav song.
Thank you, Mother. Hare Krishna.
Jai, Jai.
Jai.
Very, very sweet song, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Thank you.
So with this, I would like to pay my obeisances to you, Prabhu, and all the Vaishnavas on the call. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhya vacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrindi ki jai, Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Caitanya Bhagavat ki jai. His Grace Haridas Varya Prabhuji ki jai.
Hare Krishna
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
So
Hare
much.
Krishna,
Koti
Prabhuji.
Dandavat
Thank you.
Pranam.
Koti Koti Dandavat Pranam.
Very nice, beautiful class.
All
Thank
Hare
you, Mother.
Krishna.
Enlightening us.
Thank you, Mother.